What if justice, as we know it, is a construct of our minds, a product of our evolution? A provocative question indeed. Throughout history, the concept of justice has been a cornerstone of societies, shaping laws, morals, and relationships. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why do we have an inherent sense of right and wrong? Is it a product of our evolution as social beings, or is it a universal truth that transcends our human existence? Let's delve into this thought-provoking question as we explore the voice of human justice. We'll journey from the dawn of civilization to the present day, examining how our understanding of justice has transformed and evolved. We'll look at justice in the context of religion, philosophy, and society, and ponder its future in an increasingly complex world. So let's travel back in time to the birth of human civilization and see how justice has evolved. In the beginning there was chaos, and out of chaos came the need for justice. Our journey into the annals of justice starts in the primitive world. Here, justice was a raw and visceral concept, born out of the primal need for survival. There were no courtrooms, no judges, no written laws. Instead, justice was largely based on revenge and retribution. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, as they say. This was the law of the land, the law of the jungle, if you will. As humans began to form tribes and communities, they quickly realized that this system was not sustainable. Revenge bred more revenge, bloodshed led to more bloodshed. To prevent the cycle from spiraling out of control, they started to establish rules. These rules were often unwritten, passed down orally from generation to generation. They were enforced by the community as a whole, with transgressors facing ostracism or worse. With time, these primitive societies began to differentiate between unintentional and intentional harm. They started to understand the concept of proportionality, that the punishment should fit the crime. This was a significant leap in their understanding of justice. It was no longer about blind retribution, but about maintaining the balance within the society. But as these societies grew, so did the complexity of their rules. They began to understand that not all wrongs were equal, and that certain actions demanded more severe consequences. They started to recognize the need for a consistent and impartial system to adjudicate disputes, to ensure fairness in the face of increasing complexity. These developments marked the beginning of a shift from primitive justice to a more refined understanding of the concept. It was a shift from revenge to retribution, from retribution to restitution, and from restitution to reconciliation. It was a shift from chaos to order, from anarchy to society. As societies grew more complex, so did their understanding of justice. The seeds of modern justice were being sown in the fertile soil of these primitive societies. And as we will see in the next scene, this evolution continued in the ancient world, leading to some of the most influential ideas about justice that still guide us today. From the Hammurabi Code to Athenian democracy, justice took a new form in ancient civilizations. As time marched forward, so too did our understanding of justice. It became more than an instinctual response, evolving into a societal construct with laws, courts, and legal systems. In the fertile lands of Mesopotamia, over 3,000 years before Christ, the Babylonian king, Hammurabi, etched his laws into stone. The Hammurabi Code, as it came to be known, was a comprehensive legal system that covered everything from trade to familial disputes. The most striking feature of this code was the concept of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, a principle that sought to match the punishment with the crime. It was a step towards order, an attempt to standardize justice in a chaotic world. But the Hammurabi Code, while revolutionary, was not alone. Thousands of miles away in another cradle of civilization, justice was also blossoming. In ancient Athens, the birthplace of democracy, justice was not handed down from a king, but determined by the citizens themselves. The city-state introduced the world to trial by jury, where ordinary citizens were called upon to weigh evidence and pass judgment. This was a radical departure from previous systems. It decentralized the power of justice, placing it into the hands of the people. Yet this ancient justice was not without its flaws. The Hammurabi Code was harsh, often disproportionately punishing the less privileged. Athenian democracy, while innovative, was exclusive, denying justice to women and slaves. These systems were products of their time, reflecting the societal norms and prejudices that existed. Despite their shortcomings, these ancient civilizations laid the groundwork for our modern understanding of justice. They taught us the importance of laws, the need for a fair trial, and the belief that justice should be consistent, not arbitrary. But it was not until the advent of philosophy and religion that justice truly began to take shape. These ancient systems of justice were merely the precursor, the foundation upon which future generations would build a more equitable and fair system. Plato, Aristotle, Jesus, Buddha, they all had something to say about justice. As we delve deeper into this subject, we encounter the profound influence of philosophy and religion on the concept of justice. These great thinkers and spiritual leaders introduced notions that continue to shape our understanding of justice, such as fairness, equality, and altruism. Let's begin with philosophy. The ancient Greeks, Plato and Aristotle, were among the first to articulate a theory of justice. Plato, in his seminal work, The Republic, expounded the idea of justice as harmony, a balance within society where everyone performs their designated role. Aristotle, on the other hand, introduced the concept of distributive justice, the idea that justice involves distributing goods and honors proportionally according to merit. Moving eastward, Confucian philosophy in ancient China also held justice in high regard. Confucius taught the principle of ren, or benevolence, a form of justice that emphasizes love, kindness, and respect for others. Now let's turn to religion. Many of the world's major religions have deeply ingrained concepts of justice. In Christianity, Jesus preached love for one's neighbor and forgiveness of trespasses, concepts that are intrinsically tied to a sense of justice. Similarly, in Buddhism, the idea of karma, the law of moral causation, is an expression of cosmic justice, where good deeds are rewarded and bad deeds punished over lifetimes. In Islam, the concept of ADL, or justice, is one of the fundamental tenets. It's a divine attribute of God and a moral obligation for humans, manifesting in fair dealings, equality, and the upholding of rights. These philosophical and religious views on justice have undoubtedly shaped our understanding of it. They have introduced profound ideas of fairness, equality, and altruism that continue to influence our societal structures and personal beliefs. However, we must also acknowledge that these ideas, as profound as they may be, are far from perfect. They are the result of human contemplation and interpretation, and like all human endeavors, they are subject to flaws and limitations. These ideas shaped our understanding of justice, but they were far from perfect. In the modern era, justice is a complex, multifaceted concept that continues to evolve. In a world where change is the only constant, justice too has been swept up in the whirlwind of transformation. We've moved far beyond the eye for an eye of primitive justice and the philosophical and religious interpretations of yore. We're now in an era where justice is seen through a more nuanced lens, one that takes into account the needs, rights, and dignity of every individual. Human rights, for instance, have become an integral part of our understanding of justice. They encompass a broad spectrum of rights and freedoms, from the right to life and liberty to freedom of thought and expression. These rights are recognized universally and form the very bedrock of justice in our modern era. Social justice, another facet of modern justice, emphasizes the need for equality and fairness within society. It strives to eliminate barriers that people face because of gender, age, race, ethnicity, religion, culture, or disability. It promotes the idea that everyone deserves equal economic, political, and social rights and opportunities. Then there's restorative justice, a concept that focuses on the rehabilitation of offenders through reconciliation with victims and the community at large. It's about mending what's broken, restoring harmony, and fostering understanding, rather than simply meting out punishment. These concepts, though widely accepted, are far from static. Debates and discussions continue to shape and refine our understanding of what justice truly means. New ideas are introduced, old ones are challenged, and our collective conception of justice grows and evolves. The evolution of justice, however, is not just about refining definitions. It's about adapting to changing societal needs, about ensuring that justice is not just a concept, but a lived reality for all. So, has justice reached its final form? Well, the answer might not be as clear-cut as you think. The journey of justice is ongoing, and it's a journey that we're all a part of, whether we realize it or not. As our world continues to evolve, so too will our understanding of justice. As we look to the future, one thing is certain: justice will continue to evolve. We find ourselves on the cusp of a new era, where the potential for radical changes in our justice system is immense. Imagine a world where artificial intelligence takes the stand in courtrooms, providing unbiased and unemotional judgment. Or consider the impact of universal basic income, a concept that could redefine our understanding of social justice by providing everyone with a guaranteed living wage. These ideas may seem far-fetched now, but they echo the bold visions of justice reformers from our past. It's through such audacious imagination that societal transformations are born. However, the road to this future won't be easy. It will require us to challenge our existing beliefs, to question our biases, and to strive for a world where justice isn't just a concept, but a lived reality for all. The evolution of justice is a testament to our capacity for growth and change. So, what will your contribution be to this ongoing journey?